So when you open those up though, you'll have a white piece of paper across them. This one's already been opened up. You just take your finger with that white piece of paper that's around it, rip it off there, put that in your pocket. We want to save that white piece of paper because we can use it for note taking. Like if you ask the patient, hey, are you allergic to any medicine? Or are you allergic to anything? Are you taking any medicine? You can jot that down on that scratch piece of paper. It's kind of nice to have right there. Now, let's talk about the nomenclature, the parts of this bandage, okay? So the first thing is the dressing portion, this white square rectangle looking portion here, okay? Then we have the elastic part here, the ace wrap part of it, that's the bandage portion of it, okay? On the other side here, on the back side here, we've got this pressure cup that does two things really. Adds pinpoint pressure, supposedly, the manufacturers say it do. I don't know, there's no real data on that, but it does add a little bit of pinpoint pressure to that wound site, and then two, you can actually use this and rip it off there and actually use it for an eye cup. So think if someone's got an eye injury, when you wrap up the eyes, you don't want to put pressure with that bandage on the eyeball, because it hurts and is aggravating and causes more problems. So that this protects that from happening, okay? Another thing about the tail, cool thing is we let go of it. The tail here that's rolled up doesn't go anywhere. It's got intermittent hook and loop, so that's really nice to have in sweaty, bloody, muddy, dark environments, okay? And then another cool thing about this, if we flip this open, you guys can see in there, we open this stuff up. Inside, I've got this little piece of plastic wrapper here, okay? We can actually take this now and make a chest seal out of it. We've got better chest seals, but again, very minimalistic. It's another tool, okay? So we've got the plastic wrapper there. We've also got some gauze in here. We've got about 5 yards worth of gauze, if I recall correctly. It's just bulk dressing gauze, and it'll be all fan folded up. I'll show you guys what fan folded means when we talk about hemostatic agents. But I can either remove this and take the bulky dressing, because this is designed for the military. Well, if they have an entrance wound, they may have a exit wound. So put the bulky dressing wherever a hole is bigger, entrance or exit. There's still some gauze sewn on the inside, so that's kind of nice. But that way, another versatile tool. So if I've got multiple injuries on the same patient, then I can maybe use some of this gauze on one of it, cut it, use it on the other injury, and then take this and apply it to some other injury on the same patient, okay? So that's kind of cool. I can also wound pack with it. The way I can pull this stuff off, so you've got this gauze here that'll be all nice and folded up in there, Z folded or S folded, okay? Up in there, and you've got this in the cellophane, the saran wrap. It's not saran wrap in there. So so that's the nomenclature, the parts of it, okay? So how do we apply this? So I'm going to use Nick's forearm here. So let's say he's bleeding from right here, okay? What we're going to do is we're actually going to hold on to the dressing with one hand here, and then the bandage over on this side. I'm not going to do this, because what happens, I've seen this too many times in training, guys, everybody does it this way, and they splatter blood everywhere, and blood gets on you, and now you get cooties. And half of being the medic is looking cool. And you don't look cool with the patient's blood splattered all over your uniform. So hang on to the dressing, apply it there, okay? Simply just turn your hand, your fingers over on this side, and then pull the elasticity out of the bandage. Don't just unroll it, but pull it. And if you notice, my workspace is close to the arm. I don't unroll it here and then start stretching it, because then I'm just, you don't look cool. You got to be cool. You're the medic.
Makes sense.
Okay. So pull the elasticity out. Okay. Swap hands. I'm going to go kind of slow. Go over it the first time. This just secures it to the patient. Okay. Now I want to cover up the bottom and top edges. Pulling the elasticity out. Cover up those edges. Okay. And then go over the top of it again. Okay. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you guys. You guys remember the ace wraps, right, we used to use? Well, and they'd have those little metal clips. You can only find them once you're barefoot, right? We don't roll like that anymore. All these modern bandages all have these same, what I call fish hooks, barbed fish hooks, okay? And they'll have these little barbed fish hooks. So for demonstration purposes, let's back it up. So as you come around, all you got to do is find an edge of the bandage, another edge here, okay? And hook it in there. And that secures it to the patient.